Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's brother Amwan from the Great Millstone came here in Philadelphia, giving out praises and due honors to Yahweh Shemel Shah, Shem Dash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and honors and citation out there to the hopeful elect. Alright, so let me get the hell of this. Alright, so as you see the thumbnail or whatever, it's gonna be about so-called Deacon Hakai, the sellout, who basically, just like Alazar or Alizé, got exposed by his woman, his wife, ex-wife, whatever. And in the same case with the so-called Deacon Hakai, man, he getting exposed by his woman, man. Another, guy that was exposed, by his female, his woman, his wife, whatever, and in this video right here, his so-called wife, whatever, ex-wife, whatever, this was the ether, man, the shit that make your soul burn slow, man. And in this video, that this woman put up, she basically confirmed, which we already knew, that he sold out along with I forgot the other guy name, the light skinned guy. I don't know why I'm blanking out on his name, but they both sold out. It was all about the money. He changed up the doctrine, and he changed the name. Once he changed the name, all bets were off, man. And it didn't take long for this guy to be uprooted out of there, man, which he was already uprooted any damn way. He didn't really he never had the spirit of the Lord. He was just a man that was crept in unawares, man. Basically, he came into this thing to be condemned. This is Jude chapter 1 and 4. For there are certain men crept in unawares, who are before of old ordained to this condemnation. Okay, ungodly men turning the grace of Yahweh Shemel Shah into lasciviousness and denying the Lord. Wait, hold on. We want to get this word real quick. Lasciviousness. Hold on, let me turn this shit down. Alright, you want to play now?
Lasciviousness.
Alright, lasciviousness. Unrestrained sexual behavior, lustfulness, lustful or lewd quality. Okay, one of his lewd qualities was basically extortion, exploitation, pimping. Okay, like they say, pimping ain't easy, man. That this woman that, came into his life, he ain't give a shit about her. He was just using her, to dry up all her accounts. And after he dried up all her accounts and shit, he needed to find a new hustle. He needed more money. That's probably why, he eventually, he was already planning on doing anyway. He dried up all his woman account, and then he said, fuck it, I'm gonna just sell out. This wicked ass nigga, man, this lewd fellow. And in this video again, I'm trying to remember which part. I had screen recorded on my phone. Let me try to get it. And this is fair use.
I asked if I could go to my car because I needed space to distance herself from me. His family's blood would be on my hands. That kind of pressure is hard to explain unless you understand the environment. Salvation. Then later he began teaching Gentiles how to eat.
All right, here we go.
He was sincere. by someone physically locking you away, but by making the consequences of speaking feel so heavy that you start silencing yourself. Looking back,
But let me go back to the scripture real quick. You know, and this, you know, I randomly just did this. Like I had, you know, better, you know, points to make, better thoughts and shit earlier today, but I was at work, couldn't really do a video. So now I'm just going in the spirit, you know. So it says again, turning the grace of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua into lasciviousness and denying the only Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Ruach. And it says in denying, that's who they denied. They took away the name, which she's about to go into, which again, like we already knew what happened. Okay, when they started changing up their doctrine, and then they took away their name, man. That meant that they sold out, you know. And we didn't need her to tell us this, but this is just more confirmation, okay, that they sold out. You know, they like, come on, man, you like, come on, you weak as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? Then the scriptures say a wicked woman is given to a wicked man. You know. And women, they love abuse, man. They got Stockholm syndrome, man. You know, she was loving the abuse, man. Like if she was with a righteous man, she probably would have left him. You know, and ain't no righteous man gonna be putting a woman, you know, through what he was putting his woman through. He was basically just using her for, you know, financial gain. That's it. He didn't give a shit about her. You know, he I don't know, but the thing about this, like, it was most likely he didn't want her in the first place, but she never says like what she did. You know, it was always he had a anger problem or drinking problem, yada yada yada. But that's their business, man. You know, but a woman, you know, aside from this situation, man, a woman never tells you what she did, you know, to cause any, you know, friction. You know, and why this man, you can clearly tell he can't stand this woman, man. You know, for whatever reason. And again, he was just using her from what it seems for expert, you know, just to, you know, financial gain, man, to extract money from her. You know, like you take, like, man, it was some low life shit, man. You know, some low life nigga shit. And he was a nigga to begin with. But like I said, a wicked woman and is given to a wicked man. Like if this is a righteous man, okay, and you know, first of all, you shouldn't be telling your woman any goddamn thing anyway. You know, a woman is not in the truth, man. Period. Period, man. But he got caught up, and he basically wanted that worldly, you know, that worldly appearance, man. He was doing all this to be pretentious. Oh, I got all these wives. He wanted to be an Israelite in the world, man. If he was an Israelite in the truth, first of all, you be losing women left and right, man. The woman wouldn't be staying with, if you is a righteous man, and I'm speaking from experience, the woman would leave you, man. If you doing the right things, you pleasing the Lord, she gonna leave you. Satan gonna jump on her. If you try to get her right, Satan gonna jump on her and basically bug her out. You know? And the guy, you know, deacon, so-called deacon, he was never in the truth any damn way. He was speaking damnable heresies. He was speaking, you know, things contrary to the doctrine. So he was never a man of the Lord, man. So a guy like this, he can have all these marriages. Why? Because he's in the world, man. You know, if you a man of the Lord, you ain't got time for relationships, man. And if you are in one, this shit gonna be rocky. You might have your woman in your life one moment, then she go on the next. Then she might come back. You know, that's how it goes sometimes. Or you just might lose her for good. You gonna go through hell, man, when you dealing with these women, man. Especially if you're trying to juggle multiple women, which is not wise. Then the scriptures say how he may please his wife, man. We not in the time to please our wives, man. We in the time to please in the Lord, man. And if you're doing that, guess you're going to lose the woman, man. Especially when it comes to if whenever you go out. We particularly my camp, we particularly go out on Saturdays, and women love Saturdays, man. They love Saturdays, man, or Sundays, man. And they always they want to want that day, man. I don't know why I'm going into all that. Going back to this, like it. So he denied the name of the Lord, you know, and the woman, she confirmed that he went from teaching Yahweh Yahushua to basically going into Jesus Christ and teaching that the nations can be saved. And she said that he said that that's going to gain more money. That's why the churches do it. It's to extract more dollars, man. Saying everybody can be saved is lucrative. Okay? Which that's not in the scriptures, man. If you saying everybody can't, you shunning people away. You excluding people. But when you goddamn saying everybody can be saved, you're including everybody. When the scriptures is not an inclusion doctrine, it's exclusive to the Israelites only, man. To God's chosen people. And out of God's, the Most High's people, only the elect can be saved. And if that's the case, what's the protocols that the elect will have to follow? This is not a thing where it's easy. You know, it talks about the bitterness, the sweetness and the bitterness, man. You gotta go through shit, man. You gotta prove yourself. You gotta go through trials and tribulation. It says, much tribulation. It's constant. You know, it's a constant battle. People don't want to do that. And again, it's only for the elect, man. The elect are going to show who they are by their works. So if everybody can be saved, what's the point? Just like in the churches, if you believe John 3:16, but what about your actions? Faith and actions is the same thing, man. You can't just say, "Oh, I believe," and not having any action behind it. You got to put it into practice. You got to be thrown into situations where you have to, show your faith. You know? And like, the elder brother in South Carolina mentioned, this might be a psyop, This might be a disguise just to, since they already got the money, just to get up out of there, man. Because he talking about he's stepping down. Like, again, they're in the world, man. They're speaking from a worldly standpoint. When the scriptures tell you, you're not supposed to step down or turn your back. Again, they're clearly not men of the Lord, man. You can't push. First of all, they wasn't pushing the truth anyway. Okay, they been turned their back. They literally denied the name of Yahweh Shah. And very swiftly, almost instantaneously, the Lord just completely got rid of them guys, man. What you think? I forget it. I don't know how the fuck I'm blanking on his name. The other guy, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna do videos? And how many goddamn members do they have? And then, he was making merchandise of the word. You're not supposed to do that. This is another example of an unbeliever, man. Deacon Hakah, so-called Deacon Hakah, is an unbeliever. He was never a man of the Lord. And like I said, a wicked woman, that's what they gonna be with. They gonna be with a wicked nigga forever. That's another clue, man. You over here living life and shit, like you not catching no fucking hell, man. You ain't going through it. You know? And you all about, financial gain, man. How you, like, man, come on, bro. Man, you know how weak you are to sell out, man? Do you understand selling out is the equivalent of giving up your birthright, man? Just like Esau did. He was the first sellout, man. Including the first murderer in his incarnation as king. Okay? So, and just like with Jake, they will murder their own family. That's what they did. Back then, they ain't doing it now. They murdered their family or their children for fame and fortune. How much more a nigga? You seen that? Like he's just a fucking nigga. If he was able to sell out, man. Come on, man. How much? What else would he do? He ain't got no conscience, man. He don't have a fear of Yahweh Shem Shah, man. They fear the eyes of man or men. Yeah, faint in the day of adversity. Let me, where's that scripture at? Man, I got so many precepts. It's like I've been trying to play the video, but And that's crazy because faint is synonymous with Esau. He said he was faint. So he was weak. He gave up his birth. That's the spirit, man. Let me see this word for faint. Because Esau was a weak weasel. He was a weak piece of shit. And Jake, the 2/3 that do the envy of the devil, sin came into the world. The 2/3 of our people, they got that same spirit, man. Okay? They got that same sellout spirit, man, as their fourth. The Lord said, ye are your father the devil, man. The Lord was talking about Deacon Hakah, man. Weary, exhausted. You see that? You're not supposed to be exhausted or faint or weary in his truth, man. We might go like the scriptures say, a just man falleth several times but getteth back up again. This nigga said, he's stepping down, or I'm stepping, whatever. The nigga, I forget the dude's name. He put out a message saying, which they already knew the shit was going on, but now they got caught, just like a female. Now they wanna, this what happened. You should have took accountability back then. Then we gonna examine ourselves. No, you not, man. Okay? It's over, man. The show is over, man. Your 15 minutes is up. And it's Ayap, I believe. Ayap. To be faint, to be weary. Now, I got So Esau was weak as hell, man. You see? This is Proverbs 24. Is it the same word? Let me see. Rapah. And this one is Apah. It's basically the same, but pronounced differently. Rapah. And this one is hold on. Apah. Arap. Okay, okay. Arap. And this is Rapah. To sink. This to be disheartened. To show oneself slack. Yeah, you was slack concerning the promise, man. Feeble, weak, faint. Barely perceptible. Slack, still slothful. Basically, it's the same word, man. or the same definition. Exhausted, weary, languid. Yeah, man, like thirsty. What you supposed to be drinking the word, man? Okay, like, man, you guys are weak, man. That's why it says, let me read this. Hold on. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. In the NLT it says, if you fell under pressure, your strength is too. Hey, there you go, man. Like, if you said, like, come on, man. You a weak motherfucker, man. You know? You got that Edomite. Most of you guys, even though you're Israelites, you got that Edomite spirit, man. And then on top of that, you were 2/3, man. So it's like the scriptures say, you're twice dead. And then you don't have the truth. You can't even. You supposed to examine yourself, man. You didn't even have the truth. You didn't have the option to do that any damn way, because you was never a man of the Lord, man. Just another wicked ass nigga that crept in unawares. You know, and if you to sell out, you ain't shit, man. It says the elect, they not gonna draw it back, man. Tazarah. Rival wife, that's funny. This is hilarious. Adversity is what is Tazarah. Okay, straits, distress, trouble. Vexer, rival wife. This is the rival wife. This is his adversity, man. Okay? This came to bite him on the ass, man. You know? And then, like, this video, she been doing a whole goddamn Hulu series, Netflix series, exposing this guy, man. He's basically Nature Boy Part 2. Okay, I'm pretty sure she probably gonna be on the news and everything. Watch. You know? And again, your woman is never in the truth, man. You know? The women are going to be saved through the man. I would make a man more precious than fine gold, man. And in a hiding place from the wind. This might be a goddamn Hulu series. Watch. I'm about to put my money on it. And again, it's another woman, a rival wife. Okay, a lot of you guys, a lot of guys that so-called been in the truth, they fell out over their woman. And it's been countless upon countless examples, man. Okay? Satan's number one tool is the woman. Okay? And the Most High, he can use her too. You seen the pegger, the peglet, he got exposed. Where he at? He went back. He was already in the world, man. Okay, these are evil men. And now he got exposed by his rival wife. Okay? And he's out of there. You know? He was out of there quicker than the Thanos snap. All right. This is I'll probably go here. Proverbs 28:5. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek Yahweh understand all things. And he clearly didn't understand nothing, because he was an evil nigga. He's a wicked ass nigga, man. He was always in the world. Okay, he was a nigga that crept in unawares, you know, just to be condemned. And it says, evil people don't understand justice, but those who follow the Lord understand completely. Better to be poor and honest, damn, He didn't understand this. He wanted a G-Wagon. He wanted the ball out of control. That's why he sold out, man. He dried up all his women's accounts and said, "Fuck it. I need a new hustle, man." You know. Then he took that Judas purse. He changed up the doctrine, you know. And he was already exploiting his congregation. You know. It says, "Buy the truth and sell it not," man. And to not make merchandise of the Lord's word, man. And look what happened. The Lord got you up out of there real quick, man. Then you went against the name, man. You denied the Lord that brought you, man. Which you clearly wasn't brought, because you sold out, man. You traded your birthright for a raw piece of meat. For what? For riches that's gonna be naught in just, you know, a short time period. This shit comes and goes, man. But we gonna inherit everlasting glory and life, man. If we're of the elect. We don't give a fuck about no efferent. No, what do you not even getting? You selling out for nothing. Just like the raw piece of meat, he sold, like, what the fuck? He fainted. It said I am faint. And the nigga probably wasn't even hungry. But said, fuck it, anyway, I'm gonna just give up my birthright, my integrity. But anyway, it says, better to be poor and honest than to be dishonest and rich. You see? He was a dishonest nigga. And he was rich, so-called rich. You know, in a worldly sense. With cash money. So-called cash money, man. And it says in the KJV, better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness or integrity than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. I'm over here reading over scriptures. So yeah, I mean that applies to him too. And this is 2 Timothy 3:13. It says, but evil men and seducers, and he was a seducer. And it says, imposters, okay, will flourish. They will deceive others and will deceive and themselves be deceived. And it says, but evil men, in the KJV right here, and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived, man. Okay? I mean, it just writes itself, man. It's a beautiful example of what not to do. Okay? And this confirms that the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that it confirms their names, man. He denied the names, and look what happened. That fast. Niggas sold out. And he got exposed that fast, man. You know? But anyway, let me see.
Now, there's something else I realized. At the time, I thought the problem was his behavior. I thought he had anger issues. I thought he drank too much. I thought he treated people badly. But I still believed he was sincere. I still believed he
And the thing is, she don't know. She's a woman, man. She's the weaker vessel, man. You know, like she said, this shit was funny as hell, man. She said she went to somebody. I don't know if it was Alizé or the other guy, and basically told the guy what happened, and the guy replied like, "Have you ever been deceived by a man before?" And she said yes, and he replied, "You should have known better. A woman don't know, man. You know." But again, this was all set up for his condemnation, man. You know, he thought he was slick, and he got caught up, man. You know, pimping ain't easy. You know, he is pimping this woman. He's, not, in a sexual manner. He was just extorting her, basically taking her disability checks, which is fucking wild. You know, doing all, man, this nigga shit, man. This nigga shit. You know, but it's confirmed that he's. I mean, we already knew it, but confirmed that he sold out, man.
He believed what he was teaching. I still believed he was sincere about the doctrine. That part didn't start unraveling until much later, because over time, I started watching major beliefs change. Not small opinions, major positions. Positions he publicly taught. Positions he built platforms around. Positions he sold products around. For years, he taught Israel only salvation. Then later, he began teaching Gentile salvation. And what made that difficult for me was that he had publicly said before that if someone wanted to make real money, they would teach Gentile salvation. Then, later, that became the doctrine he was teaching. At the same time, he changed his positions on the names Yahweh and Yahweh-Shai. For years, he taught those names. For years, he defended those names. For years, families learned those names. For years, children learned those names. Then later, he began saying those were not actually the original Hebrew names, and that Paleo Hebrew was not even a true biblical dialect. This was especially difficult for me because
Oh
those
yeah,
were the names
I forgot. He went into talking about some of the goddamn, not the goddamn, but the Hebrew wasn't the real Hebrew. Like, come on, man. That was another sign. Like again, starting off with the elder apostles, they already said you sold out, man. We already knew this, man. Like, come on, man. It ain't taking rocket science to figure that out. But she's just giving more, credit to it.
Those were the names I believed in. Those were the names I prayed throughout my pregnancy. Those were the names I prayed during my labor and delivery. I had a healthy pregnancy and a delivery that went exactly how I had hoped. And the entire time I was praying in those names. When I asked him about it, he told me I could still use those names and that it would not affect my salvation. He just no longer believed they were the original names. But what confused me was that he had spent years teaching those names publicly. Just a few months before he made this change, he had produced children's books called Yahweh's Kingdom for His Children and Yahweh.
Yeah, again, man, making merchandise. Let me get that. Let me just pull it up. I keep quoting it. That's supposed to be him. Bro, come on, dog. All right. It says it's 2 Peter 2:3, and through faint it's like a covetousness shall that's what come on, man. Like, he's a pure like, you don't want to be this type of example, man. That's scary, man. That's why it says examine yourself. You gotta constantly pray that this doesn't happen to you, that you don't befall. This is basically a curse, man. You know, you don't want to undergo or have this spirit, this reprobate spirit, man. Hold up. Yeah, damn. Let me go to verse 1. It's like it. It says the rise of false. You don't want to be a false prophet, man. Okay? There's a punishment. But there's attributes of a false prophet. Let's read. But there, this is 2 Peter 2:1. Where false prophets, okay, he's one of them. One of many. Also among the people, he, teaching the Israelites and all this, but then he started changing up the doctrine. He already had a plan, man. It was, lucrative. It was all about money, ungodly gain, riches. Even as there shall be false teachers among you, and he was one of them. I think Assad is the other guy's name, Assad, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this is, come on, man. This is the Lord bringing his word to life, man. And again, you don't want to be this example. You want to be a man of the Lord that's going to be delivered. You don't want to be a false prophet, man. And it says, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, man. It says over here, they would cleverly teach destructive heresies. Okay, come on, man. You ain't gonna fall for that bullshit if you got the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. That ain't, come on, man. They've been saying this shit for how long in the Christian church? All he did was turn this shit into a Christian or a Baptist. Just became a Baptist preacher, man. Teaching everybody can be saved, saying the Hebrew ain't the real Hebrew, denying the name, calling on Jesus Christ. Come on, man. This was shit. But like I think she already said it already. It was all about the money. It says even denying Yahweh, that we read it in crept in unaware. And Jew that brought them and bring upon themselves. It was swift, wasn't it? Swift destruction, man. And that's probably not the end all. Man, he obviously gonna be, judged with destruction, but he's gonna most likely catch a lot of hell, man, and go through a lot of calamities, man. You sold out, man. It told you about those that made a covenant with death, man. It shall be disannulled, and the Lord is going to deal with you, man. Okay? The Lord is the king of terrors, man. Right now, he terrorizing you with your rival wife. He's vexing you with your wife, man. And it says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways. Many will follow their evil teaching and shameful immorality, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And because of these teachers, the way of the truth will be slandered. Then they slandered the word? Did they slander the name? Come on, man. Doing fucking 3-hour, 4-hour videos about nothing. Just like Seinfeld, a show about nothing. Those videos they were doing was shows about nothing or lessons about nothing. Okay? Those are nothing but damnable heresies, man. And it says, and through covetousness shall they with feigned words, right over here it says clever lies, make merchandise of you. You see? You had to pay for prayers, you had to pay for lessons, and you had to pay a membership fee and all this other shit. It's clear examples, man. But evil men understand not judgment. And in your congregation that's being deceived, they know better than you. They know better than you, man. And they not going to make it if they don't wake the hell up. Whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slimmer if not. You see? And again, it says swift destruction, man. And that's what he got exposed swiftly. And he already oh, I'm stepping down. Nigga ain't even put up a fight. These niggas are weak, man. You know? And like this shit might be a psyop, man. You know? Nigga might be on an island somewhere. He might be on Epstein's island somewhere. You know? All he wanted was the money. Shit crazy, man. Alright, so I can probably stop, right? Let me see.
Halashai's kingdom for his children. Families bought those books. Parents taught their children from those books. And when I pointed that out to him and said, you just sold all those books with...
Yeah, so the people that brought that shit was deceived. They was being made merchandise. And you're not supposed to sell this truth, man. I can't even find a precept. Alright, I just got it. Oh, okay. Make merchandise to use a person or a thing for gain. And that's what he did with this woman. He used her for gain, and including his congregation, man. That's all it was about, man. Financial gain. That's it.
Yahweh and Yahushai's name in it. He told me, I know, I'm going to have to make some more and put Gentiles in there. That conversation stuck with me because I wasn't thinking about money at first. I was thinking about sincerity. I was thinking about belief. I was thinking about whether the person teaching these things actually believed them when he was teaching them. What made it even more confusing was learning later that he publicly stated he and Hassad had already presented this information to Al-Azhar before the doctrine had changed publicly, and that Al-Azhar rejected it. So now I'm looking at the timeline wondering, if you believed this before the public change, then how long were you teaching something different from what you actually believed? And if these were major doctrinal issues, why continue producing materials, selling books, charging for classes, and building products around positions you no longer agreed with? Those were questions I wasn't ready to ask yet, but they started forming, because some of the same things that made me question him as a husband eventually made me question him as a teacher. The contradictions, the inconsistency, the certainty one day and the reversal the next. And that wasn't limited to salvation or the needs. At one point during our separation, he told me he had reread Matthew and that he believed he could actually give me a bill of divorce, even though there had been no fornication. He was preparing to write one. Then, a couple weeks later, he changed his position again and said he had misunderstood the passage and could not give me a bill of divorce after all. Watching major position change and then change again started raising questions I wasn't ready to ask yet. But that's a much bigger conversation for another episode. Back then, I was.
Sluggy, let me just stop right there. I didn't mean to keep playing that. Got sidetracked. Alright, so that was it right there. Hopefully what was in this video was edifying. Till next time, I say shalom.